sometimes reading whole night the stuff that you need to understand is useful. Maybe sometimes it makes sense, but sometimes maybe it's better to think about it a bit and maybe think what's the smartest way how I could manage this situation? Do I really need to read the whole thing the whole night to get through this situation? What can I tell in this meeting, or how can I spin this meeting so that I don't have to invest all this time into doing all this work? How can I spin the situation in a different way? But this all really depends on each situation. But these are some of the things that I've thought when I have to do a lot of work, maybe when I have to do a lot of meetings, or maybe when I've been in these situations similar to what you're describing, and what I've realized over the years that it's the best way is not to go with the dumb approach. I'm gonna read everything, I'm gonna study everything, but literally sit down and think, what are the minimal things that I need to do to get through the situation? And what's the smartest approach that I go into the situation? What can I do that I don't have to like use the dumb approach and spend too much time like reading everything, studying everything? Because if you're studying, people like the company that you're working for, they're not paying you to study things. They're paying you to solve problems. So you should think about how you can solve the problem. What do you actually need to do in this meeting? Maybe you need to sell the client. Maybe you need to sell the project that you're working on. What would sell the project? What would sell the client? Like what exactly you need to do to make this happen? Not go with the dumb approach, study all night. But maybe sometimes the dumb approach of studying all night is the actual thing that's going to sell the client or sell the project.
Well, the studying all night is basically for me to understand everything that they're saying in the meetings. Like seriously, it's horrible to go into a meeting and then all of a sudden you're hearing, I don't know, imagine if you go into a meeting and it's like, it's a different language. Like, what would you do if like all of a sudden, I don't know, you get into a client that only speaks Spanish and he will only talk Spanish to you, like you won't understand it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
So
hey,
that's why I'm saying not always this works. This is some things that I've taught about, some things that I've used that sometimes works, but it's not gonna work always. And definitely if you don't have any experience, then it's really difficult to navigate this. I understand that.
but you do have a point because like you said, like the company's not working you, it's not paying you to like study. It's
Yeah,
paying you to
exactly.
solve.
I made this mistake because when I was new to this professional world and I came from the university where they are teaching you to study and memorize things and just blindly write down everything in an exam, but you don't really think, you just memorize things that no one cares about, really. But when you go and work for a company, it's not about memorizing things. Sometimes it is, but mostly it's about solving problems. It's about selling the client, selling the project, showing that presentation to clients properly. It doesn't matter that the project or the code that you wrote doesn't work. In a presentation, it has to work. So maybe you're not even running the code. You're just showing a video of the project. Get through the situation, solve the problem. That's it.
Fake it till you make it. And even if you don't know, like
That's a lot of this in the beginning when you're new. It's a cliche thing. It's also a dumb thing to say, but it's the reality. You have to fake it a bit. You will realize that over time, when it comes to solving problems, is it really faking it if you solve the problem? It's not really faking it. It's like from one side it is faking it, but in my mind, if I can solve the problem and no one gets hurt, what's the problem with it? You just solve the problem, everyone's happy.
you just solve the problem, yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's about solving the problem. Maybe it's difficult to navigate these situations in the beginning, but over time you just learn to get better at this and understand that not always you need to study all night, and maybe you can find the smartest way, maybe you can fake it a bit and get through the situation and solve the problem.
No, 100%.